Yo, what's going on, beautiful people? We are back with another episode of the Respect the Game podcast. As always, we do not take y'all coming back to listen to us for granted. If you're a new listener, we are definitely not going to waste your time. This week, we're getting into all NFL free agency. So you're going to hear some very, I don't know, you're going to hear a lot of good things and maybe bad things. But we're going to take you inside the NFL free agency. We got our brother Christian back, but this week we are still not at full strength. Our brother Black Peace is not with us. That sounds like he died, huh? My bad, dog. But he's not on the episode this week. But make sure you go check out his podcast. He's probably gonna have a fire episode coming out very, very soon about the Grammys recap. And you can go check out his other podcast called Talking Smoke. Make sure you follow him at Black_Peace, BLAQUE_Peace. But aside from him, it's not about him because he's not here today. Make sure you start what you're doing as always and tell a friend to tell a friend, and then tell their friend to go tell their mama, daddy, sister, brother, uncle, auntie now to follow at EMAC Stats, where you can get all up-to-date sports coverage from the high school level, the college level, the pro level. And you can also find all our podcast clips and takes at EMAC Stacks, not just on all social media, but also on YouTube. My name is Edward, which comes from a great decision my mother made by naming me after my father, who's a great man. But if you watch this show consistently, you know I am Nathaniel on this podcast with all my brethren. So here you are. Here they are.
Man, you know, Sean Hart is a man, charismatic, cultural excellence. You know, give you what's needed, as always.
All right, we can do that.
You muted yourself. But I like this. I like you're ahead of the game, Christian. I like
this. Isaac was excited. Yes, I'm Coach Johnson. I am Coach Johnson. I am the husband of Jordan of 5 years. I am the father of Harper and Deuce. And I am here to help you guys think outside the box, think a little harder about what's going on in the world and sports, and to bring a little bit of controversy.
What's going on, beautiful people? I'm the one and only Senator Xavier Miles, and on behalf of me and the brothers, as always, I want to say thank you so very much for tuning in. Please continue to do so. We love you. I am Sedacious Miles. I've already said that, but this time I want to say I am the new uncle of Harper Deuce. Take it away, Andy.
True that. Yo, man, before we get into the show, Coach Johnson, you just celebrated 5 years of marriage. Last week, you got to enjoy your wife all to yourself without your daughter. How was the wedding? The wedding anniversary vacay? 1 and 2. You don't have to be long-winded. What has been able to get y'all outside looking in? It looks like a healthy, happy marriage. What advice would you give to people on just how to get to like 5 years? I know people always want to get the longest, but like how can you just get to 5 healthy years in marriage?
Yeah, so I'll be quick with that one first. Learn how to argue and learn how to grow together. That's the biggest thing. I gotta learn how to compromise and learn how to work together. After that, you know, enjoy each other. But as far as the trip, it was awesome. Went to Charleston, South Carolina, had some great food, had some great barbecue. It was great. But also I was able to learn a lot of history. Charleston, South Carolina, we didn't realize. I know real quick. We didn't realize that it was one of the largest slave ports during the time of slavery. And it's thought to be that about 80% of African Americans who can trace their lineage back to slavery, that their ancestors came through Charleston, South Carolina at some point. So it was pretty cool to see that. So to learn about it.
Oh man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Definitely continue to wish you and your lovely wife another 5 happy years of marriage. Uh, I got $1 million question though. And you one of the fellas, so I feel like it's only right that I ask you this question. Should we be expecting? Well, there's 2 ways. I can ask this your way. First, I'm gonna ask it your way. Then I'm gonna ask it my way. So first, I'm gonna ask it your way or your wife's way. Should we be expecting Harper to have a new sibling in like the near future?
No.
Oh shit!
I'm trying to figure out what you're asking.
All right. So secondly, so that was, I guess, the political correct way to ask. My way of asking is, did you shoot up the club?
Did I shoot up the club?
Did you juice her?
I think shoot up the club is a bit of a better vernacular that word.
We utilized our time wisely. We made the most of every moment.
All right, man.
We made the most of every moment and every gift that we got from my wife's private hour. So how about that?
So is it safe to say that in 9 months?
No, because my wife's on birth control.
Yo, man, speaking of children, I should go down the history for this beautiful segue. Speaking of children, it went viral this past week with Kirk Franklin and his son. I thought it was funny. 2, I hate the fact that Kirk Franklin actually apologized for the matter. Like, I just like, why, bro? You shouldn't have to apologize. And I don't know if that comes with his stature and him being a role model, him being portrayed as this gospel person, or you shouldn't curse because you're Christian or whatever the case may be. But I think it was a beautiful showing of a real moment. I think it was a beautiful showing of a real parenting moment, whether or not it was wrapped up in him cheering his son on if he was at a basketball game, or if he was digging in his son motherfucking ass because the nigga was being utterly disrespectful.
We had to pause. Normally I guess you have it. I know where you're coming from.
I appreciate how real that moment was. I don't think Kirk Franklin should have apologized. I don't know the situation in terms of their relationship, but the hell with anybody who felt like Kirk Franklin was wrong, and the hell with anybody who think he should have apologized. So I think for the most part, that's how I feel about it. How do y'all feel about it?
I definitely think like just on my own personal values, I probably wouldn't call my son a bitch, but I don't know. Maybe Kirk was in the right. Maybe his son was on some bitch ass shit, or maybe he a bitch ass nigga. I don't know. We don't know the facts. But for Kirk Franklin to go off that end, it definitely sounds like I won't say a deep end. It definitely sounds like an end that they visit quite frequently. That doesn't sound like that was like their first or last encounter with him using the bitch word or calling his son poor. I probably don't agree with that either. Because maybe his son is, I don't know. I don't know his son's financial situation, so I don't want to say it's wrong to call him poor, but I have probably called my son poor. It's kind of low, but damn, I don't know the dynamics of their relationship, man. So I think his son was on some bitch ass shit though for posting an argument. That shit was lame as fuck. Like, you try to paint your dad in a bad light. Yeah, you is a bitch for that. That's some bitch ass shit. You could have just kept that under wraps. Really, if my dad called me a bitch, I'd scoot up. Oh God, what are you talking about, bitch? Yeah, come on, show me, real quick.
Christian, you want to weigh in?
For me and my dad, we good though. Shout out to my dad.
Yeah. I really don't see how this became a viral thing. Especially, I mean, I don't necessarily know how white families and how white fathers talk to their children.
About to call me.
But
What's going on?
But I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I've had some conversations with my dad that went sideways. I've said something that he didn't like, and you know, I've had a talking to that was very forceful, similar to what
Bro, so your daddy called you a bitch?
He might have. I haven't.
Man, hell no. But they know what to say it to, boy. My daddy know we'll rock and roll, right?
He might have. But I can say this. I've pissed my dad off a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? And even when I was not now, I would never do it now. But probably like my early 20s, I've definitely said something that was disrespectful, and he had a reaction like that. Like I mean, that's a normal reaction.
Me too, but he ain't say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you get here to think about that, I don't want to put my dad on blast because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If I said something that earned that reaction, then I probably deserved it. And obviously he deserved it by trying to air it out.
Okay.
Also, too, I don't know if y'all saw, his sister came back at him like, "Hey,
maybe he was on some bitch ass shit that warranted it. Maybe he just
okay. So Edward,
I don't know.
I'm gonna disagree with you, bro, because I'm gonna disagree and say he should have apologized, but not for the reasons why people felt like he should apologize. I feel like he should apologize because when you in that light, bro, it's the same reason why last week I let Isaac call me ignorant because I wasn't aware of the man's statement of apology. It's like I'm gonna cancel up until I hear that man apologize. Because once you apologize, I have to take from that you're at least a little bit remorseful. So in this same situation, bro, if Kirk Franklin were to make himself God when he's trying to preach to us through all his albums that nobody's God, lean on God, and trust God, you can't be, as soon as your son piss you off, show your weakness because you got all these people who are looking at you. So I feel like
that was an intimate conversation that was never supposed to be.
But it wasn't intimate for his son, apparently.
Because his son was on some bitch ass shit.
Right. So now your son, his son was just a tool to reveal how Kirk Franklin will really be behind closed doors.
No. Go ahead, Edward.
Oh, no, I'm not finished with my take. So when he apologizes, he's apologizing because he know I said some words. And there are people who follow me where those words would be like, you know, saying, Kirk Franklin, like, I ain't feeling you telling me to keep hope alive and look to the sky. And then as soon as your son makes you mad, it's like you get weak. It's some people that he follow that's that weak-minded that'll hold that against him. And since we do live in cancel culture, and you know when we live in cancel culture, he had to make that apology, bro.
Are you done? All right. So first and foremost, I don't think it's fair to call Kirk Franklin weak in that situation because he clearly stated in his apology his son didn't even air the part or start recording the part where Kirk tried to go through drastic measures to bring on the family counselor to help them. Some people need their help.
Context is everything. That's why it matters.
But they got what they wanted to get.
You got a sound bite. You got a 40-second.
This is what I'm saying.
You didn't get the holistic conversation.
Don't do something to where you can be put on that.
Right.
That
yeah.
spotlight.
Just live perfect. Just live perfect, and then you won't have to.
Bro,
that just makes a lot of sense.
You got caught. How you know you're in a toxic relationship with a son and don't know that he's gonna do some fly shit?
What are we even talking about?
That's what I'm saying. He had to have a reason to issue the apology, or he knew he wouldn't even issue it. The people behind him had to be like, yo, Kurt, you got to do some damage control on this shit, bro, because you said bitch, you said nigga, you said po. You said I'll break your neck, nigga, shit like that. Like,
Sedacious, I'm halfway with you. That yes, because of his position, he did need to apologize, right? And anybody, especially within the church, it just had to come.
Wow.
Again, I said I don't think he did anything wrong, right? I'm a God-fearing man.
I feel like his apology.
I don't think he did anything wrong.
False. How do you not do anything wrong if he deemed judgment on his son? Only God can judge us, bro. So once I call someone,
he degraded his son.
bro, that's not of God, dog.
Actually, it is quite of God to judge people. I think people need to go read the Bible, because the Bible speaks about judging people rightly. But yes, it does. Matthew 7.
No.
Matthew 7. Go and read it. But outside of
Bible,
that,
hold on, everybody. I want to make every listener clear. We are not telling you to go out and judge. The Bible and God does not want you to go out and judge others. Though we're humans and we are judgmental, that does not make it right.
For another conversation. We'll get into that another time.
That's
but
not another conversation, because I'm not having that conversation with you. But go ahead.
That's fine. But for him in that situation with his status and what he does as a career, he didn't come out and apologize because people can take it like, oh wait, how can you preach to me and you act like this, right? He needs to show, hey, look, though I have this platform, I still am human, right? I'm still a sinner who's saved by grace, who needs the grace of God, right? And I had a weak moment. This is a moment that I have with my family, and that's all you need to do. So yeah. But as far as him being in that moment, I don't think he did anything wrong. I mean, sure, the Bible says be ye angry, but sin not. But I mean, things happen. Things happen, and that's how he reacted in the moment. So
I just don't want you to.
So for me personally, right? Like I was saying to begin with, he put out an actual statement. That's how you feel. That's okay. We'll learn the mute button. That's okay. I understand y'all's point of view and saying because of his statue and like what he, I guess, like preaches, he should apologize. One of the biggest things that I get away from Kirk Franklin's music is that, like, I am far from perfect. I feel like that's a resounding sentiment of most of his music, is that I, Kirk Franklin, am far from perfect. I am a human being. I have messed up countless times. A just man falls down 7 times and gets back up 8. So I feel like Kirk Franklin, as he's always said in his music, he is not perfect. He was in a situation where he may have not used perfect language or perfect judgment or whatever y'all want to say. And I don't feel like he was wrong for being in that act, because everybody and their mama or who may be judging him have found themselves in situations where they've been saying something to someone else that they shouldn't be saying, or they've said something degrading to someone else, whoever that person in their family may be. Maybe a child. You may have said something crazy off the wall to your mama or your daddy or your brother or your sister, whatever the case may be. So I understand how y'all feel. Again, Kirk Franklin is in the statue. People look at him a certain way, so he should be able to go before people and say, I apologize, but like, Kurt ain't perfect, and he ain't never said he was perfect. So we shouldn't look at that video. It's like, oh my God, you said those words, Kirk Franklin, you're not perfect? Like, what is that about? And overall, I thought it was funny as hell. So that's why I appreciated the video. But yeah.
So you're saying you still don't agree that he should have apologized?
No, and I say no with also understanding why y'all said he should.
So no, I didn't say he should have. I didn't say that.
Well, Sedacious and Christian.
So I'm really not understanding your reason as to why he shouldn't have apologized.
Maybe he should have apologized to his son for calling his son a bitch, but like
no, he shouldn't have.
That's what I'm saying. If his son was doing some bitch ass shit, maybe, I don't know the dynamics of their relationship, but I just know me and my dad know me, right? And he just knows, like, bro, you not finna do that. You finna call me no bitch.
Edward, what's the reason as to why he should not
son
apologize?
Might be a bitch, because I'm finna take it there.
The reason Kirk Franklin should not have apologized?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like Kirk Franklin owed anybody an apology.
Personally. And the reason being?
It's because that's between Kirk Franklin and his son, and Kirk Franklin has never portrayed to be perfect in any way for anybody to feel some type of way about why are you saying these things. I don't feel that's why I don't believe Kirk Franklin should have apologized.
Okay, so when it went viral, everybody heard it. So now I take my hard-earned money and I pay this man who's giving me encouragement, and this man is telling me every album that I know things get hard, and I know we're not all perfect, but we should all strive to live Christ-like as much as possible, right? So I'm giving this man money for him to tell me I should be Christ-like as much as possible, no matter what's going on through your life. Like,
bro, we all know that.
No, Isaac, no. Isaac, stop. Isaac, stop. Keep going, Sedacious.
I pay him his money, and then I see on my Twitter that the nigga's no better than me. And I've been paying him money for years. Revolution. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me believe. Like, I've been paying him money for years. He's been telling me for years, like, no matter what happens, keep your head to the sky. Depend on the Lord. Like, how you gonna now tell me, since I called him, I see, bro, you called your son a nigga. I don't even call my son a nigga. You said you'll break your son's neck and all that shit. I don't even do that shit to my son. So you finna tell me I'm finna watch the nigga that I give money to, now I feel like,
okay, you don't agree with his parenting
he's
style.
lying. So why would he not feel like he owes me an apology? And I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm looking up to him. He's one of the,
it's your fault for looking up to him like
the head. But bro, I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking from everybody else who's been.
Everybody else feel like.
All right, so I'm gonna say my piece. If you want to rebuttal, that's fine. But we're gonna move on after this. Again, I believe, as me, you, and Isaac have grown up together, from Yay High to a Grasshopper, praise dancing to, we could probably do an album worth of Kirk Franklin songs. If you truly listen to Kirk Franklin's songs, like I said before, I believe the resounding sentiment of Kirk Franklin's music and his catalog is that I am not perfect. None of us are. No matter what you go through, it's going to be hard. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to fail. As Kirk Franklin has shouted out millions of times how he's had a ridiculous problem with porn and sex.
What else has he shouted out millions of times, though? Trust on the Lord.
Okay, and does that mean you can't be perfect, though? Does that mean, so trusting in the Lord mean you got to be perfect? What are you saying?
You're saying that he's always told us he wasn't perfect, but you're negating all of the shit that he's told us to do because you ain't perfect.
Just because you're not practicing what he preached.
You rely on the Lord because you're not perfect.
He's not practicing what he's not.
How you not practicing what he preached when he got caught in
because
the
moment that you get upset and you feel like nobody's listening, when you feel like nobody's listening, you can tell your son, you can call him a nigga and say you finna break his neck and call him all these things. When you feel like ain't nobody listening, that's what you do. Like, come on, man. All right, we can move on.
All right, yeah, we can move on. So, Isaac, right, watch your face, Isco.
Get back into the camera.
But I was ignorant last week because the nigga apologized. Yeah.
No, you was ignorant because you lacked the information.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Which is why you had an ignorant take, because you didn't know he
apologized. Let's move on.
Yeah, now let's move on.
Right. Because you niggas is ignorant.
You just acknowledged that at the beginning of the show that you.
No, now you niggas is ignorant. Let's move on.
How though?
That is
What's the next topic?
That is a very baiting comment you just made.
Yeah,
but
it is baiting because it's not ignorant just because we don't agree with your.
What's the next topic?
You don't agree with Kirk Franklin's parenting style, and that's okay.
Hey, I do have to say that. I'll say this real quick. I'll say this real quick. Scripture backs Sedacious.
Oh Lord, here we go. Podcast getting derailed now.
Scripture backs Sedacious.
Go, Christian, go.
Paul says both in Titus 1 and I think in Timothy 2 as the other place where he lays out the requirements for an elder in the church. So anyone who's a leader in the church, and one of the requirements is to be above reproach. And what that means is to not do anything that will cause someone to say something negative about you, right? So don't have anything inside your character where someone can say, "Oh, see, there you go. That right there. Can't follow you now because of that." So Sedacious does have a point.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm baited in.
Go ahead.
Please forgive me. So, Sedacious, are you offended by Kirk Franklin's recent actions as you paid this hard-earned money to listen to his music over the years? Are you personally offended and hurt and feel betrayed by his actions?
Let me ask you something. What point does that
No,
prove?
answer my question.
No,
I don't want
answer
to
the
answer my question, please.
Answer
Answer my question, please. Respectfully, please answer my question.
Because I'm getting ready to tell you what you can do with that.
Well, I'm still confused as to how that helps this case.
Bro, answer the question, bro.
Sedacious.
No,
it has
the
nothing to
questions
do
that
with
will
the
help
case.
you
I'm
further
asking you a simple question. It is not connected to anything. It's a simple question to you specifically.
Was I personally offended by Kirk Franklin?
Yes.
No.
Okay, let's move on. All right, so NFL.
So who the fuck were you speaking for?
NFL.
We just wasted our time.
I'm confused.
NFL
Do we not try to get millions and millions of listeners or what? Are we just talking about?
Yeah, we want them to get into our take. You wasn't supposed to speak for the masses. You don't know how.
I always speak for the masses. This nigga just read the scripture.
Hey.
He just read the scripture that would agree with me, and y'all still want to argue.
Hey. So I think this is a deeper
He didn't
point.
say he agreed with you. He just
Hold
said
on.
he just got the scripture that back.
I said scripture agrees.
The scripture
Isaac, I said scripture agrees with Sedacious. It backs up Sedacious' point.
Right.
But I think
agree with me and Edward, right?
Somewhat I did. I agreed with both of y'all. I can hold two opposing ideas in my head at the same time.
You can hold two truths, Christian? You can hold two truths?
And I say I can hold two truths. I say I can hold two opposing ideas.
So which one is the truth?
You know it.
The truth.
You know it.
Which
I
one
can
is
hold
the
two
truth?
opposing ideas in my head at the same time.
If it can be two truths, which one is the truth? He shouldn't have, or he should have apologized.
On everything I love. I've never wavered on any stance, and all of my arguments have been transferable down to any argument you want to bring up in the history. These niggas love to stand on both sides of the fence. You know what?
Everybody go play back the podcast. Everyone go play back the podcast. Okay, Isaac. I know you missed me last week. I know you missed me last week.
Hey man, look.
Okay, hold on.
The people will come back. The people will come back to listen to us so we can have this conversation next week. Let's get into NFL free agency.
Well, Edward, because it's not on that topic, but I just
you just got handled, shorty. Let's move on.
No, I did. If you go back and play Isaac,
you know it.
Isaac. People, if you go back and listen to my take originally, I said that I thought that he should have apologized. I said I didn't think he did anything wrong, but I said he thought he should have apologized. But there's a reason.
5 minutes. Shoot fits.
All right, beautiful people. So we're moving on to NFL free agency right now. And so a lot of big moves have happened. Last week, Dak Prescott re-signed with the Cowboys, 4 years, $160 million. He has a no trade clause, and on top of that, he cannot be franchised. So that just wasn't on with us. Well, no, I lied. I was about to say he wasn't on. They had some technical difficulties, and we got into that conversation. But nonetheless, it's still top news for Cowboys fans. Not only that, Drew Brees just retired. We're gonna go through some of his NFL records as he's retired, and that has left the playing field open with the Saints between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Talk about Cam getting some weapons in New England. We're gonna go through that. Y'all know Christian gonna talk about the Jags as we slowly but surely get closer and closer to the NFL draft. The Chiefs been making some moves with their offensive line. They didn't let a couple people go. For some reason, Christian always thinks the Texans are doing good things in the offseason. We're going to figure out why he believes that now. Looks like, I'm not sure what happened with Deshaun and where I don't know where he's going to go. The Jets, the Dolphins, who knows right now, but Ryan Fitzpatrick, he is now with the Washington football team. So it looks like, at least for now, pending a possible Deshaun Watson trade, that the Dolphins are committed to a tour. And so before we get into free agency, I'm gonna just open it up with some pay our respects to Drew Brees, and I would like to know Sedacious. I'm gonna go Isaac. I'm gonna go Sean Hard. Drew Brees has here is some of his records he's retired with. Most 123 games with 300 passing yards, 97 games with 3+ passing touchdowns. And he has the most pass attempts, which is 60, and the most completions, which is 39 in a game without an interception. And that game was actually a playoff game. He has 12 straight seasons with 4,000+ passing yards, 16 games with 400
wait.
passing
12
yards.
straight seasons with 4,000+?
Yes.
Okay, wow.
16 games with 400+ passing yards, 57 straight games with 20+ completions.
And that go.
7,142 completions, which is an all-time NFL, which he retired with that being the all-time leader with 7,142 completions, 80,358 passing yards, which is right now an all-time record as he has retired, and he's the fastest to reach 70,000 passing yards. He also has 5 seasons with 5,000+ passing yards, and he has had 17 straight seasons with 20+ passing touchdowns. Shine hard. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to pertain to all those records, but what is your overall synopsis on Drew Brees' career, his legacy in the NFL?
I believe Drew Brees will go down as a top 5 quarterback as it currently is stated today. I saw Ryan Clark's list of top 5 quarterbacks ever, and he quite literally had Patrick Mahomes at 5 and left Drew Brees out of there, which is something I don't agree with, which is why I said currently you have to put Drew Brees top 5 just due to him being arguably the statistical GOAT throughout the NFL, minus the championship category in regards to those statistics, but everything else, he's giving you a run for your money, in regards to yards, completion percentage, and, a couple of other, factors you hit on. But, I mean, surefire Hall of Fame, first ballot career. First ballot Hall of Fame career for sure.
Well, all righty then.
Hey, he's still racist, right?
Everybody, we got a lame ass fuck nigga just taking Sedacious place tonight. Y'all just excuse him for his little outbursts.
The nigga not racist still?
Man, bro, you are you gonna judge everybody?
Isaac, hold on. No, Sedacious. Ask me why he's not straight.
Why is he not racist?
Because he gave an apology. All right, so with the Patriots free agency, right, guys? I want to talk about Cam.
He did use that logic with Miles Leonard. That was good.
That was bad reasoning, but
yeah, right, because you said that shit like smart.
He used it though.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's not smart, isn't it, Christian? It's not smart at all, right? Yeah, we just use the same logic that your boy used. Literally the exact same.
Okay, can you explain what you meant?
What is you talking about?
Isaac,
I'm not going to have with you. We're going to talk about free agency.
Go ahead. Let's talk about free agency.
All right. So, Cam Newton, right?
Just need to link up and hang out.
I have to say Christian. All right, so big deal or no deal, right? So the Patriots missed the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Since then, the free agency, they have committed $137.5 million of guaranteed money and contracts. So right now, I'll just say real quick, the defense. So for defense, they re-signed Deatrich-Wise to 4 years. Then they went and got the Dolphins defensive tackle, Devon Gotcho. The Eagles safety, they just signed Jalen Mills for 4 years, $24 million. And they also went to get the Ravens linebacker, Matthew Judon, for 4 years, $56 million. So far, that's their defensive free agency moves. Obviously, they switching over to offense. Obviously, they just Cam Newton re-signed for another year. And so talking about getting him weapons, because, some people feel like he didn't necessarily have a lot of pieces to work with in New England. So now with Cam Newton re-signing another year, the Patriots went to go get the Titans tight end, Jonnu Smith. He signed for 4 years, $50 million. Then they went to go get the Chargers tight end, Hunter Henry. He signed for 3 years, $25 million. Mm-hmm. Then they went to Las Vegas to get the Raiders, Nelson Aguilar. He signed 2 years, $26 million. And then they went to go get the 49ers wide receiver, Kendrick Bourne. What is he for? 3 years, $22.5 million. So my question to you, Christian, we're gonna talk about the Ravens, and I know obviously when we talk about Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have a number one receiver. That's why he isn't, that I guess he doesn't have any help in the passing game. He doesn't have a number one receiver. Out of those guys that the Patriots went to go get for Cam Newton to be able to throw the ball to, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, are those guys, and can those potentially be some number one guys or number one targets to like help the Patriots get back into playoffs? So
no, there's no number one receiver in that group. The tight ends are better than the receivers are, but there's a lot of talent there that you will see Cam Newton look a lot better than what he did this past year. Jonnu Smith is phenomenal, a phenomenal talent. I think he's actually better than Hunter Henry. But if Hunter Henry can get a full season in, and they can go with that old 2010, 2012 Patriots 2 tight end deal, or very similar to the 2019 Baltimore Ravens type offense, man, this thing could be really nice. I really like the moves that they're making. I really like how the NFC East is shaping up right now. I like it.
Yeah, y'all got anything to add on that?
One thing, I said Sedacious was on some lame ass fuck shit, and I don't know if that hurt his feelings. I don't want to say it like on some lame shit or some sentimental shit, but I want to apologize to the public for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, have him feeling some kind of way because I said those. Definitely.
Yeah, so Buffalo's still gonna take that division in my mind. Or if not Buffalo, Miami. I just don't. I think the Patriots' time is done. That's it.
Who you said is done, Daisy?
He said the Patriots.
Oh, okay. You think they time is done?
Patriots.
Oh,
it could be. That division's looking a lot better, man. Beyond them not overpowering everybody with talent. Miami's looking a lot better. The Bills are looking a lot better. I really like what the Jets are doing this offseason. I'm kind of getting to the point where I hope they don't even trade for Deshaun Watson.
So question to all y'all could touch on this if y'all want to, but do you need a number one receiver to be a Super Bowl contending team? And if you don't, if the answer to that is no, what type of receiver do you need to just be able to be a threat or a contender in the NFL?
No, you don't need a number one receiver. I mean, the Bucs last year, yeah, sure, people can look at Mike Evans and say that he was the number one receiver. But, in reality, they had 3 really good receivers.
Yeah, 3 number ones on one team.
To be honest with you, you had 3 number ones on one team. But any team, the NFL is getting to the point nowadays where any team that has 3 really good receivers, right? So even, if you don't even have all number ones, but they're all really good. So they're all number 2s. Well, that number 3 guy is going to end up getting against a defender that's not that good. And, they'll get, number 1 type numbers. So, as long as there's 3 good receivers, you can get by.
So if you don't have at least one number one receiver, you would at least need 3 decent or really good receivers to get by.
Yeah, even if you do have a number one by itself is not going to get you there. I think it'd be better to have 3
Falcons.
Complementary pieces. Yeah.
Complementary football.
Yeah, but even if you think about Muhammad Sanu had his best year, and Taylor Gabriel had his best year. So they and Austin Hooper was a rookie that year, was balling out. So they had a lot of pieces in that offense.
But the question you're asking doesn't pertain to defense, does it? Because I feel like if they have, I guess to piggyback off Christian, if they have one number one receiver and two good consistent guys with a stout defense, I don't think you beat that team. Well, I think they get to the Super Bowl. You can beat them, but I think they win the Super Bowl. A stout defense and at least one number one receiver and two more consistent guys. That's a team right there.
Yeah, I mean that was the difference in this past Super Bowl. The Chiefs have arguably the best receiver in the league, in Tyreek Hill, and number 2, number 3 didn't show up. Didn't get off the bus that game.
When do you start to judge a receiver and say he's losing it or he's like lost the step? Like when, you know what I'm saying? Because I know through learning and watching the game more intently that you can't always put one player's lack of success and make that all his fault, because all the different variables that go around football or whatever the case may be. But like I know for quite some time, right? Like guys have always and probably still do put Julio Jones, like he's always like their number one receiver, like every single year. That's what Sedacious like people always put Julio Jones like up there, like he's one of the number one receivers. And I know me personally, right? I didn't really watch that many Falcons games.
Personally, so personally, what?
When I was a Texans fan, and Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins was lighting it up, and what's his name? 100 targets and no drops. DeAndre Hopkins was 100 plus targets. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, like this guy has the stats to show, like, yo, he's not dropping balls, right? So like, why are people may put him in and say that maybe that season he was a top 5 receiver. But like I'm like, how is he not number one? And then be like, oh, Julio Jones is still that guy. And I'm like, bro, he not putting up the type of numbers that DeAndre Hopkins are. But again, I understand that different variables, different circumstances. Julio Jones, he's the number one guy on that team, so he get double team, triple team. So like there's those types of arguments. But and not specifically about Julio Jones, but just how do you evaluate when a top receiver is no longer like that top tier, or his skill level is like waning? Like, how do you evaluate that properly?
Gotcha.
Like that.
Yeah. Well, I'll answer that, but to clear something up for you, Edward, let me ask you a question. Who's a better basketball player, LeBron James or Steph Curry?
LeBron.
Okay.
Because he could do more, is what you about to say? Exactly.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's very simple. All right. So, but as far as, hey, how do we know if the receiver is, not the top guy anymore? Well, for someone like Julio Jones, right, he has size, speed, he's able to separate, and he can catch contested passes. He can beat you deep. He can take a slant 80 yards. So he has everything in one package, right? As soon as we start to see that, hey, wait a second, he's not separating from defenders like he used to, or he's not coming down with contested balls like he used to, or he's not getting behind the defense like he used to, that's when we'll start to say, hey, maybe he's not number one anymore, right? So some like similar to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant had like 2-3 years where he was unstoppable, but he was just a contested catch guy. As soon as he, wasn't able to be the contested catch guy anymore, he never learned to separate as a receiver. And so, once guys got it, as strong as he is, and able to be right there with him, he didn't have anything to zig when everybody else was zagging. So I think Julio's still up there.
Real quick, can all three of y'all give me y'all top 5 receivers right now, if that's fair? If y'all feel like y'all got that off the top of y'all head.
I do.
Go ahead.
In order or just 5?
We don't have to be order.
Okay. Julio, Hopkins, Devontae Adams. Ah man, golly, I see what y'all doing. My list gonna be a little different. I gotta put Hill in there, and then golly, Odell was hurt. I love O, but I can't put him 5 because he ain't gave me the numbers a couple years. But who a 5th one, coach? Who I can throw in there at 5?
It's a lot, man. You got AJ Brown, you got DK Metcalf, you got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, you got
I'm gonna give DK. I'm gonna go.
Y'all gonna put some respect on this young man's name eventually?
Cool. No, Amari Cooper. No, he's just a great route runner, bro. Like,
See what I'm talking about, America? I need y'all to listen to this. And not one of these niggas said Stephon Diggs, and he had the best years.
yeah.
You right.
Hey, the reason why
We got a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We got a podcast.
The reason why I didn't say his name because I had him on my list. I was just trying to help him out for his 5th one.
Talk.
I was trying to help him out with his 5th one. I had him on my list.
I'm like, y'all finna run all these names for real? Past this man?
Okay, so list again. Julio Hop,
Devontae, you said
Hill, Devontae, Diggs.
What's it? Julio Hop.
And if you name any other name,
right now as it stands,
because
and I'm encompassing body structure, physical traits, stats.
I'm gonna give it to Tariq before DK because Tariq's production has been consistent since he's entered, and DK. I feel like last year, once they got like a hold on what that nigga really do, he started kind of become a Dez, low key.
what in your analysis today? What does DK specifically do? Like, what is his?
He still had a great year.
The nigga is fast, strong, and contested catches. He just, him and Russell Wilson wasn't clicking like that.
Bryant has never been fast.
No. Once they figure you out, you slow down.
How did they figure him out though?
How they figure who out? Des Bryant?
No. They just lazy. I said DK.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is fast, but they keep up with him. As long as they keep up with him and play defense on.
Up with DK Metcalf. Not from what I see.
Bro, when they play the zones, they play the zone to DK. They don't play it to Tyler Lockett.
That's zone though, right?
Okay, so when the defensive coordinators get the shit figured out, bro, you're done.
Hey man, you know what? I just looked at the list of receivers, man. Okay, this is my top 5. This is my top 5, right? Number 1, I'm gonna put Tyreek Hill. Number 2, I'm gonna put Julio. Number 3, I'm gonna put Devontae Adams. Number 4, actually no. Number 3, I'm gonna put Stephon Diggs. Number 4, I'm gonna put Devontae. Gosh, dog, I hate doing that.
Start over to Christian when you get your 5th one.
Okay, number 5. Justin Jefferson.
You're looking at statistics right now from last year?
I just put up a list of receivers and I forgot about them. But here's the thing about it's so hard to come up with a list of like top 5 receivers because there's like 10 top 5 receivers in the league and 20 top 10 receivers in the league. It's so, I mean, there's so many guys that are good. You know what I'm saying? So it's real hard. Also too, it's like there's so many different flavors, right? So like me personally, I weigh route running and separation much higher than I weigh what you are at the catch point. So like DeAndre Hopkins, great receiver, would never make my list. Michael Thomas would never make my list. Kenny Golladay would never make my list because I don't even Mike Evans, though he's a little bit better, wouldn't make my list because that's not
Mike
what
Evans
I value.
is a little bit better than who?
As far as separation, I'm talking about than DeAndre Hopkins and Michael Thomas.
But I think that boy's on the physical traits. He just don't have that elite speed to separate at the top of routes. That's why he has the elite hands and the contested catchability. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Edward.
real quick, so we can try to get back into free agency. Is it ever possible that you could be such an elite catcher that, like, you know, we don't necessarily have to worry about you creating space? Is that ever like?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's certain things like once you get good at something, like you tend to try to, even unconsciously, like you'll just make that better, right? So you know, someone like a Allen Robinson, right? He's freaky at the catch point. He runs pretty decent routes, actually, I'm not say decent. He runs very good routes, but compared to some other guys, there are guys that are a lot better than him, right? But you know, because he's so elite at that one thing, that carries him so much that, you know, it's the same thing when, you know, with running quarterbacks. You know, if a guy is an elite runner early on, that carries him so much through games, you know, after a while, you know, it kind of hurts him because it's so good.
Picking back off of that, Christians, so far the Ravens, they haven't made like the biggest splash in terms of getting Lamar Jackson some help. Sedacious, is that called? I don't remember where I heard this from, but I'm pitching this to you, Sedacious. They were basically talking about the reason we haven't seen the Ravens trying to be proactive in terms of like getting Lamar Jackson like some receivers is because, like, I don't believe I'm misquoting this, so let's just say allegedly they said this, is because like they don't believe that's the direction the Ravens are trying to move in terms of their offense and continuing to build around Lamar. They went out, I believe, and got like some blocking offensive guard. They just signed Kevin Zeitler, Kevin Zeitler, 3 years. They re-signed offensive linebacker, defensive tackle. So they only re-signed so far their offensive guard as far as like offensive free agency moves go. So like, I mean, so is that like alarming? Is that like they being stubborn? Do they believe they have enough? I'm not sure what their cap space look like in terms of being able to go out and get a decent guy or 3 really good receivers. Hold on, I seen something else. Okay, so let's see. Willie Snead is an unrestricted free agent. Their center, Matt Skura, is an unrestricted free agent. Chris Moore, their receiver, he signed with the Houston Texans. Their guard, DJ Flucker, unrestricted free agent. Dez Bryant, unrestricted free agent. And yeah, they have tight end Eric Tomlinson. He has resigned with the Ravens. Wide receiver DeAndrew White, unrestricted free agent. So yeah, they haven't really made any splash.
They still got Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrew.
Yes, that tight end that Deshaun like a lot. I mean, not Deshaun.
I think
Lamar.
they do, but don't quote me on that. I haven't seen. It doesn't say whether he re-signed or signed, so I'm assuming he's still under contract with them.
Yeah, the tight end is still there.
So me, it seems like they're trying to beef up the line to be able to run the ball a lot better.
Oh, real quick, Daisy, and also Mark Ingram, he's gone. He just signed with the Texans, so you keep going.
Yeah, but it's.
Yeah, but they got old Dobbins. So
yeah,
they're trying to beef up to be better at the run. And I guess, you know, just playing old school football, I guess that's the way the thing gonna go. Because if they can run with the quarterback and run the ball, you know, it's just subsequently it's gonna open up the pass. So I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of as far as the approach. But then you don't have to have that good of receivers if you running the ball down somebody's throat and they load the box.
Somewhat. I think they are trying to get back to that 2019 offense, and shoring up the offensive line is one way to get there. But also, we got to remember, this is only day 3 of free agency. There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are available that I'm like, okay, they can go after these guys. There's a Kenny Galladay still available, Will Fuller still available, Juju Smith-Schuster still available, Antonio Brown is still available. I'm not sure if he's gonna go back to the Bucs or not. T.Y. Hilton still available, and Curtis Samuel. So those are all receivers that they can go after, and probably try to get a cheaper deal for those guys. Kenny Galladay is a number one guy. But also too, like we said, they don't necessarily need number ones. If they can get two of these guys under contract, if they can get Antonio Brown to sign a cheap deal and get T.Y. or Curtis Samuel, man, they'll be good.
Staying with the offensive line. So the Chiefs,
I agree.
They completely restructuring their offensive line. They let go of Eric Fisher, who ripped their Achilles against the Bills in the AFC Championship. They let go of Mitchell Schwartz, who's been dealing with back injuries, and it's not likely that their center, Austin Ryder, will re-sign with them, and it's also possible that Kalichi Osmeli and Andrew Wiley could also become free agents who are also on their offensive line for the Chiefs. However, the Chiefs did just sign Joe Thuney for $80 million, 5 years, $32.5 million guaranteed. Offensive lineman coming from the Patriots. The Chiefs did sign him. So obviously, if you're gonna win the game, it starts with the trenches. Does this cause a concern for the Chiefs and them kind of restructuring their offensive line, or are we going to continue to see the Chiefs as they've been the past couple of years?
I think it's cause for concern. I think if the guys they sign all start all 16 games and don't get hurt, great. And if they don't have any injuries anywhere else, great. That's a lot of money that they're putting towards the offensive line. Sure, we have recency bias. That it hurt them during the Super Bowl. I get it, but that's just a lot of money, man, that they're putting there. They're still trying to go after Trent Williams, I think, offering him over $20 million. If they don't get him, they might go after Hudson, the center that the Raiders just let go, and pay him a pretty penny. So, they're putting they got a lot of high dollar contracts. They got over 7 players making over $14 million. So it's a lot of money inside of a few players there. So
okay. So Sean Hart is first and foremost, Isaac, are you still a Texans fan? So whether or not, I feel like we all believe that Deshaun is probably gonna leave. So like whether or not he stays, you done with the Texans?
Done.
All right, bet. All right. So still asking for your
Yes. Can my man not explain that though?
I've been explaining it. You on the podcast, go back and watch him. I told you, right. I'm here as long as Deshaun is here. I've waited my whole life for us to get a black, intelligent, charismatic leader as we have Deshaun, who can, also have the on-field success.
You're right.
He leaves us because he feels like we're misled through the front office. We have a racist culture. It isn't player first. It isn't player friendly. The late great McNair, alluded to it being a prison asylum and how the prisoners could not run the asylum, which is why Dwayne Brown wanted to leave. And, the carousel shit fucking show clearly continues as we sign Tyrod Taylor, who is a gleaming picture of mediocrity. I like Tyrod. He is a black man with a job in the NFL. Don't make this a thing like that. But as far as where we want to go, he is a step down from Deshaun Watson. You know it. I know it. Yes, I am no longer a Texans fan.
All right. So for those who don't know, like Sean Hart, Izzo just said, the Texans just recently signed quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who is coming from the Chargers, coming from the Chargers. And remember, he ended up getting set out because he was trying to get a shot or some type of injection, and like the trainer punctured his lung. They're trying to give him like an injection before the game or whatever. So he's completely healthy from that. But the Texans now have Tyrod Taylor, 1 year, $12.5 million. They've also signed cornerback Terrence Mitchell. They've re-signed cornerback Vernon Hargreaves. They signed the Raiders defensive tackle Malik Collins. They signed the Bills wide receiver Andre Roberts, and they signed the Packers linebacker Christian Kirksey. They've signed the Dolphins linebacker Camus Kruger Hill. They've, like I said earlier, they just signed Mark Ingram to a 1-year deal. They've also added the Patriots offensive tackle, so the Patriots losing some of their guys on the offensive line. The Texans also assigned Patriots offensive tackle Marcus Cannon, and they also received the Dolphins offensive linebacker Shaq Lawson in exchange for inside linebacker Benardrick McKinney. So I know you done or you only there as long as the Texans are there, Sean Hard. Our defense has always been atrocious, mostly the secondary, I believe, in my own opinion. But as you see, for the offensive acquisitions, they got Tyrod Taylor, they got Andre Roberts, they got Mark Ingram, and they got Marcus Cannon.
Done. Fuck. Them ain't nobody. They are not going to impact winning on a significant level.
So, people, I am about to pitch this question to Coach Johnson, but for whatever random reason last year, we know how last year went when we was talking about the season. For whatever reason, Coach Johnson thought spectacular things were going to happen. I'm proud of us because I can't remember the last time we talked about Bill O'Brien on this podcast, so that shows growth, that shows maturity. But for whatever reason, those off-season moves by what's the dude name? We didn't talk about him in so long.
B.O.B.
Yeah. Hold on, so what's his name again?
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien, bro. We ain't talking about him. I'm dead ass. I really couldn't think of his name. The offseason moves that Bill O'Brien did last year, for whatever reason, Christian was so hyped about him.
Bill O'Brien.
Them bringing in different types of receivers and so forth, and trying to shake things up. Now, obviously, Bill O'Brien isn't there. They're under new leadership, new head coach. Coach Johnson, you was listening to Pro Football Focus. You said they was hyping up the Texans or giving them some, really probably just selling a pipe dream. We just don't call it a book. For whatever reason, Coach Johnson, why do you like what the Texans are doing this offseason yet again?
Real quick, since we invoked the great Bill O'Brien and the move to last season, and I actually haven't had a chance to say this on the podcast, but when we look back at it, it worked. Deshaun Watson had his best year as a quarterback last year. Did he not? He did. Now, the rest of the team sucked. He had an MVP season as a passer, and they only won 4 games. But
before you continue, let it be known that you did not foresee that or believe in that at the beginning of last year.
I said that he wasn't playing well at the beginning of the year last year. Was he not?
All right.
But the experiment, hey, less is more, it worked. The full season, it worked. I said that mid-season.
All right, we're talking about this.
Okay, all right, now. So Nick Caserio coming in, pissing off Deshaun, trying to figure out, hey, how can I make Patriots South work, right? Or Patriots Southwest, because Brian Flores has Patriots South in Miami. And so he comes in and he has to figure out, hey, my quarterback doesn't want to be here. The team sucks. I got to figure out what's going on with Jack Easterby. What am I going to do? He has a 6-year contract. He's implementing a 6-year plan. Isaac was right. Right? Now, this might be one of the only times I'll say that. Isaac was right. The names that you named off, those guys are not worth anything, right? You guys will have the number 1 pick next year. Congratulations, right? Probably will be picking Spencer Rattler out of Oklahoma or something like that, one of those type guys. Unless see what they do as far as trading Deshaun Watson goes. But he's setting up for the future. He is setting up for the future. He's playing the long game. I like it. He's bringing in guys that are Patriot type guys that are going to bring in the type of culture that he wants. And he's setting it up. I like it. I like the setup. I like him not trying to.
Of course, you like it.
I like him not trying to go 8-8. And be middling there. He's like, hey, look, we got to blow it up, and then we're gonna build it back better. So.
Alrighty, then that's enough on the Texans, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, whatever. I'm done with them.
Oh, Tim Kelly.
I'm Team Deshaun. So Sedacious. As me and Isaac we are on the verge of being done with the Texans. We're just waiting on Deshaun to get traded. You were on the verge of being done with Dak Prescott. Had Jerry Jones not did right by him and paid him his money. Again, Dak Prescott, 4-year contract, $160 million, 123 guaranteed. Dak Prescott got his money. As a Texan fan, as a Cowboys fan, and again, also there's no trade clause in his contract, and he cannot be franchise tagged as well. That is also in his contract. Sedacious, what is the future of the Dallas Cowboys now that Jerry Jones has committed to Dak Prescott?
Honestly, of defense, I rewind the tape, people like go all the way back when I said if Dak had a defense, we'd be all right. And he still ain't had no defense. And they don't look like they're going to give him no defense going into next year because you just paid him a whop. So paying him a whop suggests to me that we're probably not going to get too many big wigs on defense. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we draft good and Trevon comes into his own, along with Jordan Lewis and the rest of those guys on defense. Your boy DeMarcus Lawrence, I ain't gonna lie, man, he ain't been doing it for me. You know what I'm saying? He like on some JJ Watt shit to me. Like I'm like, bro, just
Hey, bro. He is not on no kind of JJ Watt shit.
That nigga on the downward slope.
He is not on no. Okay, JJ Watt was on the downward slope from 3-time back-to-back defensive player of the year. DeMarcus Lawrence ain't never sniffed that shit. Let's
let him get that. Let him get
delusional ass Cowboys.
Anyway, so yes, point proven. Exactly. All these niggas be defensive ends for a good little while. Don't win no Super Bowl, and then that's it.
You just try to put him on JJ Watt level, and I just had to put you in.
No, bro, I didn't try to put him on JJ Watt level.
You tried to.
No, you didn't let me finish. And if you would let me finish, you would have understood my reference. But instead, you decided to take it for what you took it for and rebutted on it. That's what you did. But what I'm saying was both them niggas is on a downward slope, bro. Like, that's all I was saying.
I said,
I let him go.
Hey, bro.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that. What I do agree with is that both them niggas ain't how they used to be. And I've been seeing this from DeMarcus Lawrence like 3 years back when they paid him the $90 million extension. So I'm like, man, I don't know what y'all did that for. The nigga can't keep his hands off his hips. So, but yeah, pretty much we don't have a defense. We'll go as far as Dak Prescott can take us with a spotty offensive line. And then that's it. I'm not finna sit up here and be delusional and be like, oh, the Cowboys is finna win the division. But I don't know. Washington is making moves. Philly is making moves. So you never know.
So I can't get you on the record saying that the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs.
Oh, you can. We're going to win the division.
Hey, I want to defend DeMarcus Lawrence real quick.
All right,
please help me.
Because I mean, man, he had last year he still had 47 pressures on the quarterback.
How many sacks?
How many sacks he have? Yeah, 7 sacks last year.
Not even touched 10. Goddamn.
But look though, pressures is like more
likely.
No, pressures is more reliable and sometimes is more effective than sacks are. But I'm just looking at PFF right now. So yeah, 2017 he had a 92 pass rush grade, 2018 84, 2019 78, and then last year he had an 85 pass rush grade. So What, bro? He's going back up.
That nigga went from 90, and then
To 8, bruh, 85? 60 is good.
you know
Talk-
what?
60 is average in there.
It could be the rest of the D line, right? You're right, because we have Tyrone for I don't know how long. Sorry, y'all know him. Tyrone Miller. We didn't have that nigga for so long, and the left tackle Tyron Smith. And then they drafted this Connor Williams nigga like he was just finna be the savior, and that nigga got pushed around at left tackle. So I'm like, man, I don't know, dog. We don't have the Zach Martins and Travis Frederick and Lionel Collins and Tyron Smith. We don't have that line that we used to have where Ezekiel Elliott could do whatever the fuck he want. And whenever you take the line away from Ezekiel Elliott, it's like, oh, this is really what you do when you don't have an O-line? Oh, okay. Well, shit, we might be really doomed without Dak. Oh, Dak goes down? Oh, yeah, that's it. Call the season.
Yeah, y'all shouldn't have paid Zeke, but you know.
So you good on the Cowboys basis?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm still a little disappointed, bro, because I mean, upon more research, fam, I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about Dak, but I said this before I ever celebrated Dak. He needs a defense, bro. Any quarterback ever won a Super Bowl had a defense, bro. I'm sorry.
I think y'all defense will be better this year. You're changing up the scheme. You got Dan Quinn coming in there with the Seattle scheme. It's much more simpler. It's much more simple.
Yeah, we thought that with Rashard. Was it Chris Rashard? Same shit.
Yeah, y'all defense was better.
I know. We had Byron Jones.
Hey, Coach Johnson, what means more to you? What means more to you specifically?
Mm-hmm.
What you see with your eyes or what numbers tell you? Gun to your head, you can only pick one.
Oh, damn, I was going to say, you can't vote that hoe?
Well, no, because sometimes I would say numbers, because sometimes your eyes can lie.
So you would go with what numbers tell you over what your eyes see?
Well, if I had to choose, yeah. But the thing is,
All right. So look,
you own one tonight,
oh no, Edward.
With the Tampa Bay.
Edward, you can't go on like that because you gave me either or.
You gave me your answer.
You gave me either or, but the thing is, I would choose both.
Going on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Talking about defense, coming off talking about defense with the Cowboys. So for a lot of people, they kind of felt like how are the obviously the Patriots, how the Buccaneers going to be able to do it with their money and kind of like re-signing some of their key guys. They were able to re-sign Shaq Barrett, 4 years, $68 million. They're going to franchise tag Chris Godwin. They also re-signed Levante David, 2 years, $25 million. And they got Rob Gronkowski again, 1 year for $8 million. And is what you call it a free agent or unrestricted free agent? Brown?
Johnny Brown? Yeah, he's a free agent right now.
Okay. So they may get him, may not.
So the Ravens can get him.
Do y'all see? And I also know what you call it is a free agent as well. Leonard Fournette. Do y'all see possibly the Bucs repeat? Or was that just a Cinderella story for Tom Brady?
They can definitely repeat. They got all the basic tools they need. They don't need to bring Leonard Fournette back. They can get a back in the draft. Actually, they're talking to James White right now, which actually be better for them because they didn't have a back that can catch up the backfield that well. So yeah, they can definitely repeat.
All the Patriots over there.
Yeah. So that's the real Patriots South. Right there. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say that the ultimate ingredient to the Patriots is obviously Tom Brady. So
yeah,
but
Bill Belichick can say it's James White. That's crazy.
Who do y'all think, real quick, Christian? We're gonna let you close it out with the Jaguars, but real quick, who do y'all possibly see winning that starting job now that Drew Brees has retired out of Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston?
Jameis, I don't even know why people are playing into Sean Payton's little game with Taysom Hill. He's not going to start day one.
The people wanted to know. It was my right to ask.
Everybody in the media is like, "Oh, who do we know, bro?" Jameis Winston is going to start. When they lost to the Buccaneers, Drew Brees went over to Jameis and said, "Okay, it's your team now." Okay, so it's Jameis Winston's going to start day one, right? They're going to play this whole game all off.
They're competing for the starting job.
Yeah, all that BS. Jameis Winston's going to start week one. Taysom Hill's going to stay in his role, and they're going to have a dynamic offense.
What was I gonna say? I mean, shoot, all right, Christian, man. Y'all got signees at the wazoo for these old Jaguars. I know you're excited. For the people following you, I know they keep on looking at your draft grade. So what are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your hopes? And what are your future projections for the Jaguars with free agency so far? Because we still have the draft too to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything I could want, they got, except for Josh Jones, not being able to get him, but the Browns got him. That was one that I wish we could have got. But outside of that, man. I love everything that the Jags have done. They did not overspend. A lot of the Jags fans day one were panicking, like, "Whoa, what are we doing? Who are these guys?" But day two they came in and got great deals with Marvin Jones. Re-signing Sidney Jones was great. Getting the Griffin brothers from Seattle to come in, phenomenal. I'm very excited with what the Jags are doing. We're going to be able to put out a much better product on the field this year. Very excited.
Seahawks haven't been making any moves. Cause of concern for Russell.
I think they're done.
Yeah, I think he's coming out. I think he's gonna be out the door, man. I really think they're about to trade him
out the door.
They do not fuck with him in Seattle.
I think they're about to trade him.
For the Packers fans out there, Aaron Jones has re-signed 4 years, $48 million. Okay. He signed that before like the tampering kind of like opened up. So Packers getting Aaron Jones back. Yeah, man.
I feel bad for Packers fans.
Right.
I mean, you spend a second round pick on a running back, and then you get another running back. You running back that you drafted him to replace. You re-sign him to big money, and you don't get a receiver.
I was going to ask you, Sedex, are you going to miss Andy Dalton, who's left the Cowboys, is now signed a 1-year deal with the Chicago Bears?
No, not at all. They really should have left this Garrett nigga. I forget, he played one game and was slicing and dicing. It's like, oh, Andy's Dalton back. Let's just put him in there. I'm like, nah, this Garrett nigga was getting it. I forgot his name, bro, but we had started that one nigga. I forgot his name. He had the weird ass last name. But after that, the quarterback after that, god damn, I can't believe things escaped me. But anyway, fuck Andy Dalton. There we go. Yeah, he's from Katy. I said it. Fuck him.
Oh, I'm not from Katy. But all right, beautiful people. That wraps up this week's show, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope that you've been able to get some very insightful information with NFL free agency for us. Yeah, man. Be on the lookout for our mock NFL draft. It's going to be realistic, and some picks may not be realistic. We may take a running back in the first round. We may not take a running back in the first round. But yeah, man, definitely be on the lookout for our mock NFL draft coming up in the near future. Yeah, man, again, I always thank y'all for watching. Continue to make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow each and every one of us on our social media platforms and on YouTube. Yeah, man. And whatever game out there you plan to get ahead in life, make sure you respect it. Thank you for watching the Respect the Game podcast. Catch you next week.